Hello everybody, I'm Chief Constable Mike Barton from Durham, and I just want to talk for a few seconds with you about problem-oriented policing and its link to early intervention. Problem-oriented policing has been around since 1979 when Goldstein first described it, and this is all about thinking differently, looking at what the root causes of issues are and then delivering a sustainable solution, i.e. one that lasts. Well, how much more inspiring would it be if we deliver that sort of product when it comes to children and families, to change their lives utterly so that they're no longer people who are demand drivers when they're in adulthood.
My first call sign was Echo Alpha 124. Work generally followed a fairly predictable pattern. We'd get a call, blue lights, sirens, get there, there'd been some sort of a disturbance, and the first question would be asked was, "What are you doing here? We don't need you anymore." Well, we would deal with what we had to deal with in front of us, but in most likelihood, we were getting back into the car and leaving. But we knew we'd be coming back.
Frustrated and feeling like there's a bit of a void there somewhere. Somebody or some agency should be able to pick up and help somebody who's in that position where perhaps they don't fit all the criteria but need that help.
The key message that's coming out of the Academy is that early intervention needs to run through policing, whether that be from a small problem such as littering in the local community right through up until the more serious problems such as human trafficking and CSE.
There is a culture within public protection and in specialist areas that early intervention is not the role of a specialist officer, because by the time the cases reach them, they are actually high risk at that stage and they've already escalated.
It doesn't matter what the issue is, we can all work in partnership with our partner agencies to try and tackle that problem, and when we do that we get a much better outcome because we talk to each other, we share information and we get a much better understanding of the problem that allows us then to collectively come up with a much better solution to that problem.
All interaction with the public should be done as a problem-solving approach and looking at trying to get to the root cause of the issues within that family and then signposting as to what intervention that they need. All of this leads then to families not having to be repeat callers to any of the agencies, whether that be the police and the other services.
By working alongside our partners, third sector organisations, and by working alongside the victims and the families themselves, we are able to engage, reduce the vulnerabilities, provide them and their children with a better quality of life going forward. This work not only is a change in culture, but it's also a change in working practices, putting early intervention, prevention and harm reduction at the core of what we do.
Early intervention for me feels like an absolute must. There's been many organisations and partners that we've had to convince that this is the right way forward, but actually if you can identify early those families who will possibly need your help, the chances of succeeding with those families is far greater.
Part of our role is to encourage young people to make the right choices in life.
The young person that we're dealing with is now really enjoying school life and recently wrote me a letter of thanks to say, "You made me feel safe, you really understood me," and I think his words were, "You got me."
One of my main successes is after one of the lessons I delivered on safety and telling bad secrets, one of the pupils in the school went home and disclosed that she'd been abused by a relative and told her mum, which resulted in the prosecution of the offender. And as a result of that, it kind of gives you the feeling that it is all worthwhile. Even if you can just help one person to change their life in a positive way, then that means I've done my job.
I enjoy coming to work because I feel that I'm making a difference. I know it sounds cliche, very cheesy, but I'm happy to help people. This is why I do the job I do.
Absolutely love my job, love using triage, love getting to work with these young people and actually go away thinking I've made a difference.
For me, delivering early intervention gives me a great sense of satisfaction because I know that the staff that we have working for us to support the individuals and families in making the positive changes will make a huge difference to their lives.
A good example of Checkpoint is a female who came into Checkpoint for shoplifting offences. She'd committed a number of offences, and this girl had been in and out of the care system since she was 11. She lost her parents at 11, in and out of care, no support, no family, no financial income, no friends, really suffering with depression and anxiety because of her situation, turned to drink, and as a result of that was committing the shoplifting too.
So the key learning really is that this isn't low-level crime, it's not just neighbourhood work, it's something that affects whether it's public protection, high risk, domestic abuse cases, or whether it be counter-terrorism, or whether it be the neighbourhood policing role, but it's a fundamental shift in our approach to policing.
With our intervention, with our Checkpoint navigators, we were able to turn her life around.
The cost it will save the taxpayer is absolutely, undoubtedly the way forward, but actually it's the difference it makes to the individual and the families. So when you know that you've made somebody's life different, it does give you a real sense of satisfaction and a sense of achievement.
The Early Intervention Academy has brought together senior officers from forces across England and Wales. We now have a network of colleagues with whom we can share best practice, fresh ideas and challenges whilst trying to embed early intervention within our forces. Ultimately, we want the children of today to be healthy, resilient adults who are free from criminality in the future.
It's given me exposure to the skills, some practical examples of early intervention, and a network of other practitioners keen to adopt this approach across the country. That's now allowing me and my force to make practical plans so that the frontline staff that are there now can make a difference that I never could.
It's all very well when we come away to conferences to look sideways or blame bosses when we go back because the culture or the structure or the policies aren't in place. This is down to you, frankly. This is down to individuals making a choice. Are you actually going to look at the people who call for service and look at them differently? Are you going to deal with them with empathy, understand where they come from and how you might, with them, deliver a difference in their lives? You've got to be utterly tenacious. You've got to keep going back, because the chances of you succeeding first time with children who've had such a disadvantageous upbringing are remote. So keep going, keep being positive and keep working with people. That way you personally on your own will make a difference.